Manik, a key area of focus for your company is around waste. Tell me a little bit about the company, tell me a little bit about this journey so far.
Yeah, well, we work on a problem area that's in some ways unsexy but obvious. It's the waste around cooling. So cooling, refrigeration and air conditioning, is responsible for some of the most important things in modern life. Food, pharmaceuticals, data centers are basically large cold boxes, and convenience, air conditioning. So these are really important things human society depends on. The problem is that we're running cooling like it's 1900. There are billions of these pieces of equipment that enable cooling, and essentially there's no intelligence around them. You turn them on, you set the control at a certain temperature, and you let it go until it breaks or it fails. That's how most people run cooling around the world. We're trying to turn these dumb pieces of equipment into intelligent assets. So we use sensors, controls, and software to turn them on and off and up and down based on whether people are using them, when they're actually required, and what electricity costs, as well as what's inside or who's inside. And we do that in ways that save businesses money without affecting comfort, convenience, or quality. And so it's a win-win. We can reduce the total electricity spend, reduce the waste of the product inside, and the gases, the refrigerants that go in, without sacrificing the things that people want.
You touched on a little bit there. What kind of an issue is this kind of waste really happening here?
Yeah, well, cooling is one of these problem areas that people don't realize how significant. Cooling is responsible for almost 10% of global warming, which is a crazy number. For three reasons. You've got the energy consumption. The electricity and the energy required to power cooling is massive. It's one of the single largest uses of electricity. The second is the food and the products inside. A lot of those products get spoiled or wasted when equipment fails or because cooling doesn't work as well as it should. So you've got a huge amount of inefficiency around lost product and food wasted. And the third is the gases that are required to turn cooling on, to make cooling work. These gases are actually ultra warming. They're called refrigerants. They've been around for about 100 years. And refrigerants cause between 1,000 and 10,000 times the warming of CO2. And they leak throughout the life of a cooling asset, piece of equipment. So all three of these things, the energy consumption, the food and product wasted, and the refrigerants leaked, are responsible for almost 10% of warming. And what's crazy is there's a feedback loop here. The warmer the planet gets, the more cooling we need. But cooling causes warming. And a lot of the world doesn't have it. So big parts of the world, Latin America, Africa, Asia, don't have that much cooling per capita. So it's actually a growth sector. Cooling's growing at like 15% a year globally. It's a massive growth sector. And it's already a big part of the problem.
Often environmental issues can feel overwhelming. How can tech help us to really maybe reconnect with these important issues?
Yeah, well, I think you're absolutely right. I think environmental issues can seem unsolvable because of the scale of the problem. I think technology can change the way we think about these problems so that instead of having to consider a sacrifice, oh, I need to eat less meat, or I need to drive shorter distances or take fewer vacations, we can get people to think about how do I get where I'm trying to get to faster and maybe with less time spent on fueling up using pre-charged vehicles. How do I get to the outcome I want, which is maybe to save money or make money if I'm a business owner, without having to give up something. I can do that with energy efficiency or energy optimization. So I think climate technologies can help change the mindset from one of scarcity and sacrifice to one of abundance and opportunity. And that makes it a lot easier to get people to do the, quote, right thing.